Hey, Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Melanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Today is Monday, but it's starting to feel like Friday already almost.
Yes, it is. Can you believe that it's almost December?
I know. Another month has gone by.
Oh, each day seems to go so slowly, but the weeks and the months go so fast.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Time's going by.
I don't know what that's all about. We are almost at the end of 2020.
Yes. Yeah. It's been quite the year. Hey.
This has been a year. Steve, I want to take a moment today to just acknowledge the caregivers, and specifically the caregivers that work for our organization, Calgary Alternative Support Services.
Hmm. Yes.
Except for a little, like what, a couple weeks maybe during the initial shutdown when they didn't work with individuals, they have been working with people all the rest of the year
Yes.
throughout this pandemic.
Yep.
And I cannot imagine the tenacity, the strength that it takes to get up every day, get dressed, grab that cup of coffee, and then do the ritual of COVID-19, putting on the mask, putting on the
Hmm.
gloves, putting on the goggles, and going out to people's homes and continuing to show up, even when there's a risk of possibly getting exposed to any germ, but especially this year,
Yep.
COVID-19.
No, absolutely. Actually, I think they definitely should receive some accolades about their compassion.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
for sure. Actually, I think they're the unsung heroes.
the unsung heroes. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
I've been talking to folks in our agency, to clients all these months, and the isolation that self-isolation can cause, the feelings of loneliness, the inability even to get out for groceries
Hmm.
has been a
Hmm.
huge barrier for so many people. And so having that support worker come in day after day and spend time with individuals in their homes, or wherever, in the park, or in the wherever they're able to do that safely, has been a lifesaver for the people
Yes.
that we serve.
Yeah, and I think really, I mean, if you really think about it, from our leadership all the way down, nobody's really had a clear sense of direction or
Yes.
guidance. So I'm especially impressed that everyone sort of has a really good idea what people need and just go out and provide that.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, it's I'm so proud of people that day after day, like you said, put aside their own uncertainty, their own stress and anxiety,
Yes.
and their own loneliness to help others, right? It's that compassion towards others. I think that is really makes this organization really, really strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I think that in this climate with the COVID-19, I think sometimes the best gift we can give to somebody is just being there,
Yes.
just walking alongside of them or sitting alongside of them. But we don't have to be doing anything necessarily productive or goal oriented, which is so often the whole core of our work in human services. But I
Yeah.
think this season has been about just spending time with people.
Yeah.
And I think one of the hardest things for me, if I was working, side by side and face to face with people every day, which I'm not, so I don't understand exactly what it would be like. But in my mind, having to go to work and put aside my nervous energy, my fears, my trepidations, all that stuff that can show up not only in my mind but in my body and in my energy, being able to put that aside so that I can visit or be with somebody that day and focus in on their needs, what
Yes.
what they need to make today, another day of the pandemic, a meaningful day, a restful day, um, a day where they're not filled up with fears. That would be the hardest part for me.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I think it's been a long haul. Actually, I just wrote this article since March 15th is when I first became ill and we shut down. I think it's been 245 days of consistently, rising to the occasion, right? Dealing with that uncertainty.
Yes.
day after day, putting aside your own fears and your own anxiety to help others deal with theirs.
Yeah, that's right. And, as a caregiver, we're not just focused on like, how's things going to change for me? Will I be able to go to my grocery shopping trip on Friday? But as a caregiver now, I'm not only focused on that, but I'm also focused on, okay, am I going to go to work tomorrow and help so-and-so go to their grocery shopping trip? Or are we going to
Yeah.
have to cancel their medical appointment? So double duty, sometimes
Yes.
triple duty or quadruple if people have more than one individual that they're supporting.
Yes.
Not to mention that many of our support staff also caregive for their own children, their aging parents, their neighbors. I mean, we are
Hmm.
caring people. That's what makes us support workers. That's what
Yeah.
gets us into this field. So oftentimes a support worker has many caregiving connections that have been so hard to navigate during these times of social distancing and quarantining and
Yeah.
shutdowns.
Yeah. I think it becomes, 10 times more difficult when you have those other factors like family and relatives.
Yeah,
I think with COVID, I'm starting to realize that COVID affects everyone. You cannot hide from it without letting it affect your life somehow.
that's right.
Whether it's talking to friends whose parents are in nursing homes or in lockdown.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law's in lockdown, right? So that's another worry is like, how's
Yes.
that going to do? Worrying about her emotional
Mhm.
being, because really that right now, I think it's that emotional aspect that we got to provide support for.
Yes.
So for our perspective, for my team, we're in the employment business, helping people find jobs. But right now we're spending a lot of time just supporting people to be okay,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Or supporting employers to be okay and reassuring them. So that's another role that we take as caregivers, right? I mean, we reach out to employers all the time and we need to be supportive of them
Hmm.
because they're struggling with the same issues as we are.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
We're
tough
kind of,
job we have.
yeah, it's a very multidimensional and multitasking and really, yeah, challenging job. And what I was thinking about is, in some ways we're kind of in a holding pattern because many of our goals that we've had for this last year, that we work on with each other or even with ourselves have been had to put on hold, like
Yes.
because things have been shut down and aren't available to us anymore. And yet I think COVID-19 has also brought, or hopefully brought, another area of growth for us. And
Mhm.
maybe that is, like you said, about just spending time with people, just being able to be with instead of
Mhm.
doing with all the time.
Yeah, I think that we had talked about it about, instead of looking at that to-do list, just live and just be, right? And not feel ashamed about ripping up that to-do list, right? I think that's
Yeah.
another issue too, right? Is
Yes.
we need to quit feeling guilty about nurturing ourselves.
Yes, that's right.
Realize that it's important.
Yeah. And as caregivers, nurturing ourselves is a really important thing, not only for our ability to do our jobs, but to role model also for the folks
Yes,
that we work with. Because
absolutely.
people with disabilities, sometimes they don't know how to self-nurture, or they've never been given permission to self-nurture.
No, no, and no one's ever, spent the time to give them the skills to do that.
But every single one of us, disability or not, we deserve self-nurturing. And
Absolutely.
if there's anything that we could kind of accentuate during this COVID-19, especially as we get into the last month of the year, is the importance of self-nurturing.
Yes.
Instead of doing, just being, spending time just enjoying, what you do have, enjoying the company that is with you,
Hmm.
enjoying the food that you're eating, just those little blessings, those little parts of life that often we used to take for granted, but now, in my opinion, have become so obviously things that we are grateful for.
Yes, isn't that true, right? There's a lesson in everything, actually. Maybe
You
there
know,
is a bit of positive, right? It kind of opens up our eyes.
yeah. Steve, I think, we were talking earlier before we started recording that 14 days in quarantine because a person has the sniffles or because they've been exposed is so difficult to do. And I think after you come out of that 14 days, I mean, I've not been in a 14-day quarantine yet, so I don't know for sure, but I suspect that you would see the world in a whole new way, kind of like getting on a brand new pair of glasses.
Oh
And you
yeah.
you'd start to really be grateful for those little things, like being able to go outside farther
To
than
go
your
for a
fence
walk.
line.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, especially in this time of year, right? I mean, in the summertime, it was okay to manage because you could sit out in your backyard.
Yes.
But it's winter, right? It's hard to sit outside in your backyard.
Yeah, it is. Totally. It gets kind of cold pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
right. So it makes it even more difficult. And then the lack of daylight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors right now that we have to consider.
Totally. Yeah. So just putting it out there, a big thank you to all the caregivers who work tirelessly and
Yes.
bravely and just keep showing up to your shifts, to the people that are counting on you and relying on you and need you so much, even if it is just to sit with them over a cup of hot chocolate while you're, contemplating the day.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah. I
so
totally agree.
much.
I give so much heartfelt thanks to all those people out there that day after day after day suck it up and just move forward to be supportive of other people.
Just
That's that
base.
real compassion of others that really
Yes.
is a nice, such a beautiful quality.
Yes. It's like they keep the world turning, don't
Yes.
they? While the rest of us
Yeah.
sometimes have, like I've been working from home, so I haven't had to do that. But other people have gone out and kept the world turning for me. And I thank them so much for that.
Hmm. No, I totally agree with you.
And so I want to offer people a self-compassion mindfulness today. We've done this before. I think I think at the very beginning of our YouTube videos, I did a self-compassion mindfulness, but I'd like to do it again because it really fits with the fact that being a caregiver is a tough job because you're having to put your own needs sometimes aside while you tend to and respond to other people's needs, which can be hard to do. How many days was it that you said, Steve?
245 days since March 15th.
245 days. We've all been going through the same worldwide pandemic. And for 245 days, caregivers have been putting their needs aside to make the needs of their clients paramount and priority.
Hmm.
So I want to offer people a little self-compassion mindfulness. It's just a self-compassion break, which is about 5 minutes long. It's only 3 steps. And I just would really hope and encourage people to take these 3 steps into your everyday as you continue to go out there with your masks and your sanitizer and your goggles and just keep being there for other people to make sure that their day is better than it would have been without you.
Okay.
So number 1, just taking a moment to acknowledge what's happening for you. You may want to just close your eyes, take a deep breath to focus yourself on this very moment, and just scan your mind and your body for any sort of discomfort. Scan your latest, most recent experiences for any uncomfortable moments, thoughts, feelings that you've had. And just acknowledge those with a brief statement like, this is tough, or this hurts, this is suffering. And just letting that acknowledgement soak in, soaking into your skin, into your being. You may notice that there's a bit of resistance because you're so used to trying to stay positive for you and for others. You may notice that you're kind of resisting acknowledging what's really going on for you because you're so used to trying to put that aside to be there for someone else. But take this moment for yourself. Take this moment to really acknowledge how tough it has been. And breathe through it. The more discomfort, the more you just breathe into that place, loosening it up, allowing it some space. And then when you're ready, but only when you're ready, so if you need to pause this part of the video, that's okay. But when you're ready, moving into acknowledging that this suffering is what makes you human. This suffering is what connects you to all other human beings in the world who have been suffering just like you. You are not alone. You are not left to do this by yourself or to feel this by yourself. All others have felt suffering. May have been for different reasons and at different times. But that we suffer is what makes us human. So feeling and acknowledging that connection that you have with all others, near and far, knowing that you are not alone. And then again, when you're ready, and only when you're ready, moving on to the third step of the process, which is acknowledging whatever you need right now. Wishing yourself that need fulfilled. Like, may I be at peace. May I be strong. May I feel rest. May I feel encouragement. Whatever it is you need, taking a moment to wish that upon yourself. And then knowing that this short mindfulness is available to you anytime, anywhere. Even when you're in the midst of being in a helping relationship and just need a few moments to look inwards, taking that break from always looking outwards and looking inwards and nourishing yourself. Giving yourself that same nourishment that you so eagerly and easily give to others. An act of self-care, an act of self-love. Filling your cup so that then you can fill others' cups a little easier. And as this self-compassion break comes to a close, thanking yourself for giving yourself this time. Congratulating yourself for this act of self-love and self-care. And then slowly paying more and more attention to the sounds around you, moving in whatever way is comfortable for you. And then as you're ready, slowly opening your eyes and returning back to this discussion. It's one of my
Thanks.
very favorite mindfulnesses.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, you're welcome, Steve. And thanks for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Enjoy
And
the rest.
thank you. And as a caregiver, thank you, Steve, for all you do for your staff, clients, the agency, and your neighborhood, your community. Thank you
Likewise.
for all the, thank you.
Thanks for being so supportive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just get through this week, hey?
Yep. All right.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.